Today, French protesters took the fight directly to the source, going to the BlackRock Paris headquarters. That's right, that BlackRock. You know, the one that was buying up all the properties here and using them as rental properties so that you couldn't own a home. That BlackRock that was just outbidding you with cash for no reason other than their disdain for you as an individual. BlackRock goes deeper than just making money. BlackRock actively hates the common man, people like them. They're the sponsors of the World Economic Forum, basically. They represent everything they stand for. You know, the BlackRock that every time something shady happens in the world, like the train wreck in Ohio, they somehow have their hands tied to it. That BlackRock. So before we get any deeper into this video, like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, share around with your friends if you're feeling generous, or your enemies. Send it to them too, because they may agree with me too. Follow my socials. Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram. Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. I'm also on Rumble at Caleb Salvatore. All the links are down below in the description. Trying to build the Rumble in case we ever get banned from here. My show, That's Based with Caleb Salvatore, airs every Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, live on outlawstreamers.com, Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts. Well, it's not live. It's pre-taped, but it's a live streaming air type thing. Anyway, we can't post full episodes to YouTube. Go watch it. You'll figure out why. We do post clips that are doctored up. They're all in this channel right here. You can go to the playlist. That's Base Clips. See if you like it. If you do, go give it a spin. So anyway, the French took their problems directly to the source. There was nothing like you saw in the U.S. here during the Black Lives Matter protests. Check out this video, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So, listen, I don't know a ton about what's going on over there. I've read enough on it that I'm confident in making this video. But that is how you know that protest is grassroots and it's not sparked up by some corporate interest or feds, right? Because they took it to BlackRock. That doesn't happen here. People don't burn down the BlackRock HQ in the U.S. when they riot. They terrorize people in diners. They go vandalize a Starbucks. They steal from electronics stores and pawn shops. They break into car dealerships and set those on fire. They don't go to BlackRock. And you know why? Because the protests in the U.S. are glowing more often than not. There's federal involvement. There's provocateurs within the ranks of the protesters that intentionally rile people up to get them to go and just create chaos and cause violence and a divide. So, the average guy looks at people burning down a car dealership, and it's hard for him to get on board with that. He goes, wow, those people, they're just terrorizing local businesses. I need to be on the opposite side of this, and that creates the divide. When they take their problems directly to the source, directly to the people that have played a big hand in everything bad that's happened over the last couple years, then the average guy's like, yeah, good for them. Good for them. Screw BlackRock. And that's exactly what's happened here. In the U.S., that would never happen. There's no chance that it would go to BlackRock. The feds would never point them at BlackRock. Half the Democratic Party in this country is like, well, BlackRock, they're our friends. The former pro-worker party is just in bed with every big corporation in the country. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. They bought them off with corporate wokeism, and they were stupid enough to fall for it. That's what I love about this whole thing. But the French people did whether you like it or not. My biggest critique of the Black Lives Matter protests and riots were that they took out issues on parties that had nothing to do with it. Had nothing to do with their problems. Say what you want about the folks on January 6th. They took their issues straight to the source, straight to the problem, Congress. Now, they were never in there was never actually going to be any violence. There were no firearms recovered. Nobody actually got killed in the moment on January 6th. But and that was by design, because the feds that set that up and riled those people up, they wouldn't have taken them to the Capitol building if they thought anything bad was going to happen. But what we figured out is that politicians are less valuable than their handlers at folks like BlackRock, folks like the World Economic Forum, the regime, mind you. So now it'll be interesting to see where this goes from here, because you've got, seriously, BlackRock is the sponsor for woke governments, big governments, I should say, big overreaching governments, woke corporations, the culture war you're seeing right now. BlackRock has played a hand in almost all of it. They have been a major factor in the division you witness today because they have stakes in like all the media companies. They have stakes in all the property companies. Haven't you heard you'll own nothing and you'll like it? That's all them, man. That's their goal. That's the corporate arm of the World Economic Forum is BlackRock. And I would never encourage violence against anybody. But hey, you know what? Whatever's going on over there, so be it. You can only push people to the breaking point. And the French, it feels like they revolt like every couple years anyway. But you can only push people so far before they say, hey, we're done. And that's what worries me about here in the U.S. is, I mean, you look at what's going on over there in France, excuse me. Protests like that, when it's against big multinational conspiracies, they have a tendency to spread. And people got to be careful. You can't push the American people as far as you push the French, as far as you can push the Chinese people, as far as you can put, I mean, anywhere like that, as far as you can push the Canadian people. Because we got one thing here that none of those countries have, and that's a lot of guns. I don't want to get into the logistics of fighting a war against the U.S. military or anything like that, but you can't push the buttons of the American people the same way you can just about any other country. And they know that, and that's why they're more cautious here. And that's why you see when they have gross violations of human liberty in Canada and China, those are test runs for what they want to do here, because here they're going to do a watered-down version of it, or maybe a more sneaky version of it. It won't be as egregious as what you saw in Australia during the lockdowns, but they do it as a test run. And the U.S. government watches that, and they say, okay, what can we learn? What could we get away with doing here that won't cause an armed revolt? Because even if you could win, even if the U.S. government won an armed revolt, that is not what they want to deal with right now. They do not want to fight a civil war, a legitimate civil war within their own borders. That is a bad look, and it's bad for the economy. It's bad for your standing on the global scale. They don't want that. And that's why our buttons don't get pushed as hard. Everyone talks about, oh, well, that's, Americans, they'll never actually raise up and revolt like that. It's because, you guys don't get it. It's because we don't get screwed over. We get screwed in this country. Don't get me wrong. I talk about it all the time on my show. We get screwed in this country, but we don't get screwed to the degree other countries screw their people. They push us right to that point and then walk away. It's like when you're messing with a guy wants to mess with you at the bar. He pushes you right to that point. But when he doesn't actually want the smoke, he'll push you right to that point where you're thinking about hitting him and then back off. I had a guy do that to me last weekend. It's cool. I don't throw the first punch. I can't go to jail. I have too many people that count on me. Cannot spend time in jail. 5 years ago, absolutely, but not anymore. Too old for that. Too old for that. You want to hit me? We can do that. But regardless, I'm ranting about fun times on the road for comedy. We'll put it that way. But they don't push the American people to the extent that they do other people. Because could you imagine if an armed group, like an armed militia group, took over and I'm not encouraging anything, took over the BlackRock headquarters? That would be horrifying for them. Not an optic they want. It's not like that. They legitimately, I know it's a cliche, they do not want the smoke with the American people. I promise you, they do not push us as hard as other governments do in other countries. But we'll see. This may create a ripple effect. People may say, you know what, we're done. We're done. I mean, BlackRock is not, like, I'm a capitalist. I'm unapologetically conservative. BlackRock is not a capitalist organization. They are in theory, but they receive kickbacks from the government. They sponsor every woke. It's crony capitalism at its finest. They've perfected the art of crony capitalism. And I'm not a pure capitalist. I do think there needs to be some restrictions, obviously, like fight those tyrannical fire codes. Sorry, libertarians, stuff like that. But BlackRock, that's a whole other animal, man. It's dangerous. And we're seeing the results as they intentionally destroy this country from within. They intentionally create divide. Because when we're divided, when we're fighting each other over stupid stuff, like Dylan Mulvaney on a beer can, like Black Lives Matter, black versus white, when we're divided along racial lines, along gender lines, religion, whatever, political parties, with the Trump arrest and everything, when we're divided along those lines, we cannot unite as one because they know together we're too powerful for them to stop. But weakened, split up, fighting each other, that's perfect time for them while we're all distracted on BS culture war issues to come in and just slowly make the changes they want. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. And while you are over, and I'm not saying these issues aren't important. It's dangerous precedent with Trump. I am not on board with the sex change surgeries for kids and how a lot of the trans issues have been shoved down our throats recently. I completely agree with you on that. But just know that there are greater, much more evil powers at play right now. Do you really think a CEO sitting up in a skyscraper for BlackRock gives a crap about transgender rights? Of course not. He knows it pushes your buttons. He knows it divides us. He knows it creates controversy, and controversy creates distraction. So they're going to support those causes because they know we'll go to war with each other over it, over what should be a non-issue. While they sweep in, they buy up all the properties, they jack your food and water supply and replace it with their Beyond Meat garbage. They buy up all the farms, make it impossible for family farms to produce actual organic foods and meats, and they pump you full of their poisons. They make you buy all their pharmaceutical drugs. This is what they've been doing over the last decade or two. And we're just now finally seeing the chickens come to roost. And yeah, a lot of people have taken notice, but I'm worried it's too late. Anyway, that's been today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think. I guess we got a couple videos dropping today. Whatever. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think this is going to create a ripple effect, or do you think this will be isolated to just France? Why don't you think that companies and governments mess with the American people to the degree they do people in other countries? Or maybe you think I'm wrong. Maybe you think they mess with us worse, and let me know why you don't think we fight back, or why you think we don't fight back. Anything else? No. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. Peace out, and stay based. Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, and share around if you're feeling generous. It would really mean a lot to me if you guys did that. You can follow all my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok, Caleb Salvatore on Rumble right below. They're also in the description. You can literally just click them and go to the website just through the link. There's no additional work required on your end. I promise you're not going to regret it. Follow me everywhere. You can also check out my show, That's Based with Caleb Salvatore. Episodes air every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Video on Rumble, audio on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Outlawstreamers.com to learn more. That's the network we're on. They don't let us post full episodes to YouTube. You go check it out. You'll see why. That's Based with Caleb Salvatore every Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, wherever we're not banned, which unfortunately YouTube is just one of those places. We do post clips of it here, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on this YouTube channel. It plays by YouTube's rules. It gives you enough of a taste of what you're getting into. Go check those out, see if you like them, and give the show a full listen. The full listen it deserves. You can also go to my website, which hopefully it's up by the time this video airs because I've had so many problems with it, CalebSalvatoreComedy.com for booking, dates, and merch, and much more. Not really. It's really just those three things, but that's okay too. Click one of those two videos over here. Go see what else I got. Please, just like, subscribe, watch it, share it around. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. Peace out, and stay based.